Right, so let's get started on the exercises for Module 5B. So let's just remind ourselves of what those exercises were. So step one was to download and install a training script from our site, and I've given the link there. You don't have to use that script, I just thought I'd save you some time by providing one for you. Then we're going to hook that up within the operations interface and create essentially a good parameter string which will return OK and a bad parameter string which will return error. Then within the lab scientist interface we'll set those up so that one runs as soon as we enter the sample placement screen, and the other one runs as soon as we exit the sample placement screen. And we will actually run that protocol step and see what that looks like from the user's point of view. So here is the page in which I've provided the script. I've given some documentation on how the parameters work to it, and also some notes and directions on how to use it. So I've given the warning here that obviously this is just a training script and it's designed to illustrate concepts for training only, and please don't use this in a production environment because I haven't spent enough time sort of checking that this works and putting it in complete exception handling, etc. So attached to this page is the script you need as well as the library. Have a look at the script if you want. It's written in Python. I guess I could have done it in Groovy, but I thought if you've been diligently following this training series, then it's about time you had a treat. And so I did this one in Python. And I've gone ahead and I've installed this on my demo system. So I'm in the opt.gls clarity custom extensions directory. And if we look there, we see we've got the set exit status .py as well as the GLS API util v2.py, which we'll need. The one final thing is I'm going to copy this example syntax and put that into my clipboard. So for me, at least step one is complete. Now we want to move to step two and set this up within the operations interface. And we need to choose a protocol step to attach this to. I've chosen the library normalization step. You can choose any one you like. As long as it has the screen which involves placing samples, you should be fine. So I'll go into configuration, processes, process types. Let's do a search. I'm going to take this one. And I'm going to follow the instructions on the exercises and add another one. My channel name is LIMS server. I'm going to give this the name of good return status. And I'm going to paste the information I got from the page and just review this. What's crucial here, and I mentioned this in the slides, in the documentation that goes with the slides, to use the step URI token. So that's different to just passing the URI of the process. We're actually passing now the URI of the process and the individual step within that process. Our usual username and password, I'm setting the status to be OK and the message of looked like it worked. So we'll save that one. We'll add another one. Once again, LIMS server. We'll call this error return status. This will be more or less identical in the syntax, but in this case we want it to return with an error. And we'll change the message to can't continue. past this point. Okay, so we've now completed step 2. We've got the process parameter that was already there. Through the out-of-the-box configuration, we've added our good return and our error return. So let's now move to the Lab Scientist interface and define the automation trigger points where we want these scripts to fire from. In order to be able to test my protocol step without having the overhead of running the samples through an entire workflow to get there, what I've done is I've defined a protocol which contains just that step, and I've wrapped that protocol in a workflow and activated that. So that means it's much more streamlined when I'm actually running and testing this. So when I'm configuring, I'm going to be configuring the workflow that I've made especially for this, and within that the protocol step. So we go to EPP automation, and we see here that we've got 3 process parameters defined, as we saw in the operations interface. The create normalization CSV I'm going to leave alone as a button, but the good return status I'm going to select that run automatically, and on the placement screen when the screen is entered. And then the one which returns an error will be similar. That will be automatic. That will be also on the placement screen. That will be when the screen is exited. And just one thing here, the screen tries to prevent you from perhaps misfiring scripts. So you'll notice that on the error return status, the only option I had was when the placement screen was exited, because when the placement screen is entered event was already taken by the good return status. So the configuration screen tries to guide you as much as possible there. So let's save the step. And let's go ahead and run some samples through this, and we'll see what that looks like. So I've gone into lab view here, so I'm in testing mode, and right down at the bottom we've got my demo workflow with my demo protocol. So I'm going to view this, I'm going to add my samples to the ice bucket, and now we get to the placement screen, and the first, actually not quite, so I just need to click begin work. And now the first script should begin running automatically. So let's just wait and see what happens. We see that it's executing a custom program, and the script returned with a good return status, and the message that we specified looks like it worked. So we're now free to continue. So the first trigger point has launched the script successfully. Let's select all of the samples and place those. And now the second one should launch as soon as we click record details, and if things have worked correctly, this one should return a status of error. So let's see what happens here. This one is running. The script returned an error return status, and we get the message that we cannot continue past this point. So we have the option of saying OK, but since we got an error status returned, we can't move forward here. So we're essentially stopped at this place until we rectify the error that caused the script to return the error status. Now obviously this is just a dummy script that is hard-coded to return failures, so in practice we can't move past here. But I wanted to show you what this looked like in terms of the user interaction, of what this looks like when they get an error, and how this can be used to block them from moving forward until they've satisfied all the requirements of your business logic. So we've covered quite a lot in this little exercise. It hasn't taken us too long to do, but there's a lot of quite deep concepts here, and there's a lot of options, as I say, to guide your users and to enforce your logic. Once again, I'd recommend that you have a look at the developer website, developer.genealogics.com. And if you're sufficiently interested, take a look at the Python script that we're calling here and see how that works. Thank you.